Hey, and welcome to the final part of our epic chat with Raina, Audron, and Bazielim. Today we're asking the big lore questions, specifically about the end of Defiance. So, spoilers ahead. At the end of Defiance, Ariel appears at the Spirit Forge, and she's purified. She does not have, she doesn't have the classic Norse hell split face with the death on one side and herself on the other. So she, if I remember correctly, she appears to Raziel and says she is more than she was. Mm-hmm. So one thing that I'm kind of puzzled on, does the Spirit Forge call her back through time, or is this timeline's Ariel free and doesn't have to endure all the years of imprisonment that she's about to go through?
So I'm really looking forward to answering this one. Right. Okay. So basically, yes, I think your assumption is still correct, because she gets summoned from the future. So because time in LOK is immutable, it cannot be changed until story versus paradox happens, and then a new timeline it gets rewritten. However, no such thing happens here. She just gets summoned, and she says her spirit is united with the souls of her predecessors, and you can actually see their faces if you look close enough on the texture of the Spirit Reaver. There actually are faces in the Spirit Reaver, which means she is fused with all her predecessors, which mean the ancient vampires and potentially some human guardians which died before her. So which means obviously in turn purifies the spirit. But this cannot happen because then Raziel meets her in SR2, and then obviously in the future in SR1. She's kind of part of the, she's the element there. He talks to her. That doesn't change. Yeah. So the only way it can work is that her future self, after he leaves, gets pulled back in time to this exact moment. And it's also very interesting to know that Kain gets also summoned at the same time when he's dead. So so many people are theorizing, how the hell is he alive? And I think Spirit Forge summoning its balance guardian to itself had to do something with it, because he wakes up and he gets the feeling he needs to go there. He gets summoned just like the rest, so he goes there and it also probably has something to do with his resurrection, because it's one of his duties to come back to the Spirit Forge because it's calling for its balance guardians, and he's one of them.
One of the things I picked up from the Lost Levels as well is that there's a deleted scene at the collapsed pillars where the young Kain is talking to Ariel in the aftermath.
He wakes up because he's being summoned to the Spirit Forge. He kills all the demons in the room. A rift appears, and you can hear the collapse of the pillars sound. The pillars collapse at a point. That's what creates the rift for him to go back. It's actually in the game's code, it's called Pillars Collapse. There is a message appears on screen, and that's the point that Raziel and Janos are watching over, and that's where they collapse, creating the rift. So we know that's the point when that happens. So Kain also feels the aftermath of it, and that's why he's able to escape the demon realm. I think the original script had him use the dimensional reaver to get out, but obviously that was changed and made it like it was the pillars collapse causing this whole thing. And I thought it was really fascinating.
That makes so much sense.
It does. So he gets summoned. He's dead, but he gets summoned back because the Spirit Forge is calling him. So he gets up to do his duty and go, go back and find Raziel there. But and then the pillars collapse and can actually get out of the demon realm. So I thought that was really fascinating.
How does Kain survive is one of the most asked questions on the channel. Not just by me, well, but that is a far more satisfying response than he's the Scion of Balance.
He's a special balance guy. The Scion of Balance, obviously, he's different than he's slightly different than everybody else, and obviously, probably that has to do with it. He can survive without a heart, but he gets the jolt back because the Spirit Forge is calling. I think is also a reason for him to come back. Wake up! We need you here. Come over. But I think that also contributes to the factor. And obviously, he lives without the heart. So how is this circulatory system actually work right now? I don't know. Could he grow his heart back? I mean, he's a necromantic vampire. They grow hearts back. They can. So his case is slightly special because he was used, Janos' heart and stuff. But it's very interesting. Like have this confirmation that in the code it says pillars collapse at that point, and it's not just the message in the game. You can hear the same sound cue when that happens, when the rift appears in the demon realm. It's exactly the same sound effect as Raziel and Janos watches over.
We're gonna listen for that. And that's in the original code too?
Yeah, it's in the game. Like, you can hear it. Yeah, I never actually paid attention to it until I saw that message. I said, wait, that's the same. Oh my god, that is the same sound effect. And how did I not realize it before?
That answers another huge question I've had too, is how is it that he was able to waltz out of the demon realm? Well, the pillars ripped a hole in it.
Yeah.
The collapse of the pillars ripped a hole in it. That's amazing.
Yeah. And before they did this, they thought that he could use the Dimension Reaver. That was like the gameplay reason for it. But I think the pillars collapsing makes so much more sense than using the Dimension Reaver. So I mean, they both can work, or maybe conjunction. But it's just that cue that, oh my god, this is the moment when the pillars collapse. It's just, it has grave implications for everything, and such a sad moment, and you kind of just don't even notice it as Kain. You just go through and you arrive in the Citadel when they already collapsed and smoking. And there was also a reason I added the Ruined City music to give it a bit more somberness. And Kain arrives and he contemplates, have I done the right moves? Have I condemned Raziel for nothing in the end? And I hope, player gets a bit of a feeling of like, oh crap, everything's gone to shit. What am I gonna do now? And the Ruined City also played, and obviously Sorry We're One, and also in the credits. So it's kind of like going back, tying everything together was my goal here. Like you're entering the last stage of the game, and hence also it plays when Raziel escapes the Spirit Forge with the Spirit Reaver, make you feel empowered and strong. Like you get the fast-paced speed of the Ruined City combat playing, and you're like this unstoppable force. Nothing can kill you, nearly. You can just smash through the demons with the Spirit Reaver, do all this cool shit, and then and then you get the climax, and then you get defeated by the Hilden Lord, and you're back being a prisoner. So it's just I hope oh shit, that just spoiled that part.
No.
I'm sorry.
You know what? No. I want to.
I keep forgetting. No. Like you haven't got there yet.
No. Hearing you describe it made me tear up. Because I can imagine it really, really well, because I've played Defiance 4 times in the last year. But I can see it, I can hear it, and I can feel it, and I just got chills, and I cannot wait to get there.
I can't wait to see your reactions when you hear it. And
so this is the way that I've understood it. This is the way that I've explained it, but I don't know how right I am about it. I'm thinking of Raziel as two different entities here. I'm thinking of corporeal Raziel, the Wraith Raziel, and then the Wraith Blade Raziel, as his own soul twinned and bound to him. So at the end of Defiance, when he sacrifices himself, getting emotional, when he enters the blade and he's able to purify Kain, Wraith Raziel is beginning his journey, and the Wraith Blade is now ending its journey by purifying Kain. And Raziel is about to endure the thousands of years in the Reaver, but he knows it'll have an end. And he knows that he will eventually come back and purify Kain. So Wraith Blade finishes the cycle. Raziel as a being enters the blade. Is that correct?
Yeah, you got it right. I saw some theory saying like there's like infinite amount of Raziels in the play, but that's not right. Wraith Blade drags him into it, but it doesn't stay. I mean, there's like
people
a brief
tend to miss that like there is like a brief effect of that's the Wraith Blade going into into Kain, the Spirit Reaver.
I mean, it's you can see the golden effect of the Spirit Reaver, like it goes through into Kain, and also it envelops the Soul Reaver, the Blood Reaver at that time still, because it's dragging his soul into it.
And it heals the chest.
Yeah, and he heals his chest wound, and we made sure that the chest wound is healed when he walks away from the Elder God, because this is a mistake that the original devs did. But Yeah, there's actually a comment in the code, like, will anybody notice his wound got healed? Which I thought was really amusing. It was great. But the problem is
but we did.
they recorded the cutscene as a video, and I think it's wrong in the cutscene in the end anyway. So it's like, because we did it in real time, so it is actually correct this time. Thank goodness. I was like, we're not having these as videos, like no videos except the FMV at the start. So it's all real time, so it's all correct.
Love it.
But yeah, you're right. It's only Raziel himself goes into the river, and the Wraith Blade gets dispersed into Kain. That's the official wording.
Yeah, that's the wording from the interviews.
Okay.
Ending its journey, so it's not a continuous technically look. He has an end to himself, but his journey begins when the Wraith Blade ends, but he is the Wraith Blade, so you're correct. And he seems to be at peace because he knows that's what his destiny was all along.
He's submitting to thousands of years of imprisonment and torment, but at the same moment releasing his future self from that same imprisonment and torment.
And he can see the end.
Yes, and he's purified. The Wraith Blade is purified. It has all the knowledge of everything from the spirit guardians from Ariel and all her predecessors. So it has this pure knowledge, pure fire, which obviously heals Kain from his corruption. And this is the only way which probably Kain can restore pillars, by being pure. And obviously sets up the next game, which is really cool. So fulfilling his destiny was. If it happened at the end of SR2, Kain wouldn't have been healed, because if it happened too early, basically Mobius and Elder God would have won, and it all hinged at the one decision when he didn't kill him at the sarcophagus. So that was the important decision he made there. He spared him that one time, and it enabled him to get the Spirit Reaver, which obviously Mobius and Elder God didn't want him to be enlightened or get it in the first place. But yeah, when he realized it wasn't enough to kill the Elder God or even harm him too much, because obviously in Spectral Realms the Wraith Blade is just another spirit, it doesn't damage Elder God. It was the union of himself, the spirit part, and the physical blood reaver, which was needed to actually harm Elder God, basically spiritually and physically at the same time. So yeah, you got it right. So yeah, that's really good to hear. There's no thousands of Raziels or Wraith Blades inside the Wraith Blade never enters the river because it already has that cycle. It already was freed from the river. It doesn't go back in.
I am super glad that I got it right, and I'm super glad that there's not something crazy like thousands of Raziels.
No.
So one of the things I appreciate most about Defiance Remastered is all the music that's been added, especially to the cutscenes. Tell me a little bit about your thought process for the music that was added to the end there.
This is the last level for both characters. You just hear the same Dark Forge theme you heard for 50% of the game. Seriously? There's no indication this is some sort of big epic finale coming up, and I felt like we must change something to it. And then I thought that it was actually Abrams' idea. This is all credit to him, that we should play Rune City. At first I was like, Rune City, what? Would that even work? But I first tried it in the cutscene when he talks to Mobius. I used the credits version, so it's kind of when he dies, it goes and then it drops down, and it goes back to Elder God theme when he first see him. And I'm like, okay, this actually works. Yeah, because again, the cutscene has no music and it's just silence and silence. So I try not to make sure it's not too loud or not too overpowering, but you can still hear it, and it kind of harkens back. Okay, this is the end. This is the credits theme. This is we're close to finishing wrapping all up. And then Abram had the idea, like, why don't we reuse some of the Rune City theme for some other things too? And I was like, you know what, that actually makes sense. Because you have this epic finale for both characters, chapter 12 ending and chapter 13 for Kain, and nothing changes about the music design, and it's just the same old, you just walk through an area, it's the same theme you heard so many times, the Dark Forge theme. I was like, please, can we play something else now? I like the theme itself, but it's just so overused, you get so numb to it after a while, and that's why I limited it to only the Warlord's Mansion, and for Raziel there is Dark Forge in the present, but only there and the Warlord's Mansion. Only buildings or locations of vampiric origin, if you notice, nowhere else, because I feel like it's supposed to feel like Vampiric. I actually wanted to reuse the Lightforge theme for the forges themselves, and I had it working, but the music in the game, like it has two different systems: the MIDI files, the MIDI system, and the actual WAV files, and it's kind of clashing, and not everything, even ported up from a Sorcerer 2, sometimes doesn't work well, and there were some glitches and issues, like especially trying to keep the battle music going, and I nearly had it in the final game, but I was like, no, it's just too glitchy. It's a shame, because I think the Lightforge would have probably worked better, but you know, it's a small price to pay. At least there is different music most of the time, and that pinnacle at the end, like when you just, you're going to your end with Raziel, or it's the end of the chapters forever for Raziel and for Kain until that point. So I wanted something more epic sounding, something different, something to indicate like this is the final part of the game. Get hyped, like
Yes. Oh, I'm so excited to get there. That was on this last.
I'm sorry,
playthrough.
I didn't realize that.
No.
I completely forgot.
Listening to you talk about it, that is every bit as exciting for me as actually playing it. And I'm just looking forward to it more now. And that was one of my big issues with OG Defiance was, of course, 6 hours of Darkforge.
Yeah.
But the fact that you felt like most of the game felt like it needed stuff too, it makes me so happy. Yeah. I'm gonna only ask you one more question, and we'll leave everything else for next time.
Ooh.
So this is probably this is the thing that I want to kind of start asking everybody that I get the chance to talk to, because it is such a personal question, and I feel like it's at the core of everything that we do, as Legacy of Kain fans, and that's, what does Legacy of Kain mean to you?
Yeah, maybe you go first. That'd be all.
Okay. For me, Legacy of Kain is about a richness in storytelling. It's about a richness in character. And it's about a richness in the world. I grew up with Lord of the Rings. I grew up with, Star Wars. I grew up with these rich worlds, but Legacy of Kain was different. And I felt the first time that I played Blood Omen, it was grounded in a way that these other worlds weren't, and it felt real in a way that these other worlds didn't. And Simon and later Michael, of course, brought these worlds to life in a way that it connected me with storytelling in games in a way that really nothing ever had. And so for me, when I think about Legacy of Kain, I think about this story and these characters that have really ignited just a passion, not just for Legacy of Kain, not just for Nosgoth, but for storytelling in general. And and I love it so much for that, and that's why I do what I do.
Mm-hmm. That's lovely. No, that 100% agree.
Baz?
I think a lot of the strengths of Legacy of Kain are to do with its world building and its lore and its believability, its voice acting. It feels like such a deep and rich world and mythology that has so many different layers and facets to it. You have, at its sort of the most basic level, you have a gory story that is just go out and kill lots of peasants. But
help me, kind sir.
Yeah. and I mean, I think that is the appeal for some people. It is badass, heavy metal, vampire killing, power fantasy, chop off as many heads as you can, bust out an electric guitar and go.
This is not DMC.
But there is this whole thing on top of that is so rich and detailed and complex, and it's not holding your hand stuff. It's very, very complicated, and I mean that's the appeal of the series in many ways. Is this is not a straight line plot. There are lots of betrayals and different things going on. There's thousands of years of history that's believably there.
Sorry, I just want to add here, like you're talking about this, like everybody's great, nothing's good or bad. Like something good for someone could be really bad for the other person. So this also changes your perspective, the way you look at things. Like, you know, the ancients, you thought they were really good, but are they though? That it makes you question yourself, like it makes you think you see around what's actually the truth. Raziel sees this mural on the wall like we talk, but are they actually the truth, or are they trying to be manipulated? I mean, Elder God kind of hints at it, because they're trying to manipulate you, Raziel, into believing something, because he wanted to make him believe something else. But so everybody's trying to manipulate Raziel to their own ends in the end, and you know it's on him to discover what's the truth. But Raziel himself is a great, you know, he's an anti-hero too. Like he's committed atrocities as a human, as a vampire, and he's massacred whole people in the stronghold. Mobius just lets him.
Try to keep the casualties to a minimum, but do what you have to do. All great movements require a few martyrs.
Get away with it, like just okay, keep the casualties to minimum, but you can just kill everyone in there and then magically appear again next time you go in. Like he is like pulling soldiers from like a factory somewhere in the future. Like, yeah, that's your turn now. It's your shift.
Get in there.
Get in there.
They're all stuck in the basement underneath the floors. That's where they're crawling out from in Defiance.
Sorry, exactly. That's why I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I think it's important that the whole thing is about being grey, and nothing's black and white in Kain, and that's what appeals to me as well, which I forgot to add. Like the whole, like nobody's good or bad. Even Mobius, like when he sees the monstrous Elder God, like he understands how wrong he was, and like how huge mistake he has done by worshipping him, and then now he's being fed to him because of his huge mistake. So and he also been killing lots of people over this worship of this monstrous being, who's actually taking all the souls to himself, but he just didn't believe or didn't know about it. I'm sorry, I keep going. Oh, sorry, I'm hijacking yours.
Wasn't the first time, won't be the last.
Sorry. All right, I'll let you finish.
It's all right. It's all right. No. It's it is demonstrating a brilliant passion and zeal, and I mean, I salute you.
Thanks.
But I mean, it's a series that is able to make some really, really complex ideas and almost philosophy, like very approachable, very understandable, and something that I mean, it was one of the first games I played that really made me think about these deep sort of topics of like free will and determinism and right and wrong and morality and all these sorts of things that just, I did a bit of psychology, so free will and determinism came up on my course. So I was very lucky to have Kain as a background, and just it has that sort of stuff and makes it so appealing. And it just, I mean, we're here 23 years or more, even later, and we're still talking about it. We're still obsessing over the minute details. We're still coming back time and time again. I don't think I have any series that I'm quite as infatuated and drawn in by. It very much set the tone for sort of that era in my life, and it has for many others, and it is a cornerstone of PlayStation gaming for me, and yeah, it's a series that definitely it feels like it's ripe for a comeback. It feels like there should be a lot more of it, and I hope we do get to see more.
I absolutely agree.
I think I'll just keep adding onto the pile of cool things it does. Like I wanted to maybe stress, like, I don't like any other vampire stories, or not that I don't like them, but I was never like into them like to this degree.
Yeah.
Like LOK is the only one I'm like, oh whoa, this vampires, that's cool. It's like, I don't know, maybe I was attracted to the cool designs or something, the music, just the atmosphere, but just the whole package kind of works. But I also want to stress the themes of, like, the games are showing, like, our society also, like, the fight against bigotry and zealotry. We have the ancient vampires who we think they're pure and they worship this god, and you learn they worship the same god that you trying to escape, and he's actually behind it all. So there's also this dark side to them, that they started the war, the Hilden were the one defending, and they're not maybe such evil things, and then things are gray, and like Hilden were the victims, but they also built this machine or the mass which could kill by a mere thought. Like they both committed atrocities, and I think just the whole story shows us like that we should fight against this bigotry and such. It's not afraid to show the bad side of the characters. Like when you look at Seraph and Raziel, like he was an asshole, like absolutely, like you wanna.
They were always monsters.
Yeah, they were monsters, not just as vampires, but also as humans. And Raziel idolizes everything he comes across, and you kind of along with him for the journey. Like, oh cool, okay, maybe the Seraphim were really good, and they tried to remove all these corrupted vampires from the land. But when you actually see the acts of the Seraphim, and you like go on this journey with Raziel of, like, oh my god, they've been killing these innocent vampires who didn't do anything really, just by existing. They preemptively killed like so many of them, and obviously over time, like, killed, everything died out, like all of them were gone except Kain. And like Joanne started to doubt, like, what is right, what is right in the world? Like, are the human source of all the corruption? But also you have the Hilden pulling all the strings, trying to influence Raziel. There's just so many layers to this story, and it takes years, I think, to understand all the depths and the brilliant writing which was done for Blood 1 and obviously Sobrio as well, and all the consequent games to flesh out these stories that tie it all together. And Amy had a really difficult position because she didn't write the first one, but then she had to build on it and like take as much as she could. And there was also Blood 2 again. She advised on it, but she didn't write it. So, and she was presented like, I need to do something about this Hilden side, which wasn't there before, and she brilliantly incorporated the Defiance to make it all sense. Maybe a lesser writer wouldn't be as good as I mean, I don't know. I just really admire her, like the way she done it, and it made sense, and it got accepted by the fans. I think that's the most important thing. Like, she retconned a few things which were not as important, like something like 5,000 years to 500 years. That's something you can live with. Like, okay, that makes sense. It's maybe too long of a time, and stuff like that. And she did it. She curated it carefully, and she intertwined things. Like, she made Sorcerer 2 to take place during Blood and also Defiance as well. So you can see the same events from different point of view. But she never made it she never made it feel like you were intruding upon something. He felt like natural, like Raziel was really there and Blood was happening. Like he did kill all the Seraphim, and it just was made seamless. And I think it takes a really big skill of an author to be, so it's believable to the audience that they're not just like, nah, this makes no sense. Obviously there are some things, Defiance has it like Mobius appears after he's already dead, technically, because of Mortenius speaks to Kain, and that's already at that point. It's towards the end of the game, right? But stuff like that. Okay, Mobius is time travels. He can time travel to that theme. Just to go with Raziel. Oh yes, you killed Kain! Yay! Let me go and to my death now. Yeah. So you definitely, I could see Mobius doing something silly like that, because he's like, he's so happy about Kain being dead, and it feels like, let's have one last chat with Raziel. But it's just this pointing out mostly like about us as well, like against the bigotry and zealotry. I see people, oh no, LOK is woke now, like this terrible phrase.
Oh, I'm sick of hearing that particular phrase.
Yes, thank you. When they don't realize like the whole series is about pointing out the flaws and people's characters and like how wars are started over, silly things, and at the end, like, I mean, things are obviously trying to. Kain got healed, and there are there's a positivity at the end. There is hope, at the end of it all. But it had a big cost. And as Kain remarks, can he still heal the pillars after all what happened? They're never going to retain their innocence because all the bloodshed was spilled over wars, religious wars. Who's going to worship who? Who's going to take control? And obviously this power hunger thing underneath the ground, which is hiding from nobody can see. So it just has very powerful themes, and also like as an individual, like rising up against somebody who betrayed you, and like this kind of empowerment that Raziel has, like in reckless indignation, like it has this. Sorry, that was the word. So
your reckless indignation led you here. I counted on it.
So you kind of go on this journey with Raziel, and you kind of feel his rage, and suddenly you stop in your track saying, and Kain suddenly turns like, listen to me, I don't want to fight you. And you're like, what? But we were fighting like twice there. Why? I was thinking there's going to be a boss battle there when I first played it or something. And suddenly you're sitting there listening to Kain explaining what's going on in the world, and it makes you think like, okay, there's something else, something more deep about this, and it's not just revenge plot. And I really like how Sorcerer 2 puts Kain into like, this is it's not no longer your boss, your big boss, bad boss you need to defeat, but the destiny itself you're fighting here. It's the way the things were set up in the past for you to fail, basically to be stuck in this loop forever and replaying your destiny, and that Raziel found a way to get out of it, even though he became the very thing he was fearing, but he still found a way how to purify himself and the Brave Blade in the process, and actually set up Kain to do something good and to change things and to not just replay the same things over and over they were both stuck in. Mm-hmm. Sorry for this really long answer.
No, it's every moment of it is excellent, and that's exactly what I'm after. What about it? What about it you love? What about it inspires you? Anything and everything is what I was after here. So thank you.
Thank you.
So guys, I cannot thank you enough for all of these wonderful conversations, and I hope we get to do it again sometime. Raina, Audron, Bazielim, thank you so much for joining us, and everybody, if you like what you see and you want to see more, do the things.
Do the things.
Be Victus.
Be Victus.
My God. The hip